Your family is going to need to do something the day after you pass. Most people who buy final expense insurance have never thought about what it actually looks like. The phone calls, the paperwork, the timing. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through how final expense insurance actually works, from the application all the way through to the moment your family files the claim. By the end of this presentation, you'll know exactly what you're looking at and what questions to ask. My name is Sean Matteson. I've been a licensed insurance agent since 2006, and I specialize in final expense, whole life, index universal life insurance. I'm licensed in 31 states, and I work with clients at every stage of this conversation, from the first time they're asking what final expense insurance is, all the way through helping their families navigate the claims process when the time comes. What I want to give you today is a clear, complete picture of how this product actually works. Not a pitch, not a product comparison, just the information you need to understand what you're looking at, so that if and when you decide to put your coverage in place, you're doing it with your eyes open. So let's get into it. Before we walk through the mechanics, I want to make sure we're starting from the same place because final expense insurance gets described a lot of different ways and not all of them are accurate. Final expense insurance is a type of whole life insurance. It's designed specifically to cover end of life costs, things like funeral and burial expenses, cremation, outstanding medical bills, and other financial obligations that come due in the weeks after someone passes. Death benefit amounts are typically smaller than traditional life insurance, usually somewhere between $5,000 to $40,000, because the coverage is built for a specific, focused financial purpose. What it is not is term insurance. It doesn't expire. It doesn't require renewal. As long as premiums are paid, a final expense policy stays in force for your entire life. It also isn't an investment vehicle. The primary purpose is protection, making sure your family isn't handed a bill during one of the hardest moments they'll face. Understanding what this product is designed to do and what it isn't is the right foundation for everything else we're going to cover. Getting a final expense policy issued is a straightforward process, and that's by design. This product was built to be accessible, particularly for people who have some health history and may not qualify for larger, fully underwritten life insurance policies. Most final expense policies are what's called simplified issue, which means there's no medical exam required, no blood draw, no nurse visit, no physical. Instead, the application asks a series of health questions. Your answers determine two things: which product you qualify for and what your premium rate will be. If you're in reasonably good health, you'll typically qualify for a level benefit policy, meaning full coverage from day one. If you have had some health history, you may be offered a graded benefit product, and in some cases, there are guaranteed issue products that skip the health questions entirely. Once approved, the policy is delivered and your free look period begins, typically 10 to 30 days, during which you can review the full policy and cancel for a complete refund if anything doesn't look right. Policy features, benefits, and availability vary by carrier and by state. Underwriting is the process the insurance company uses to evaluate your application and decide what coverage to offer you. For final expense, this decision is based on your answers to the health questions, not a physical exam. The carrier places you into a risk category that determines your premium rate and benefit structure. Most decisions happen within hours or a few days. Here's what's most important. Your premium is locked at the rate you're approved for on day one. The company cannot raise it because you age, because your health changes, or because of market conditions. Whatever rate is set at approval is the rate you carry for the life of the policy. Not all carriers underwrite the same health conditions the same way. This is why working with a broker who represents multiple carriers matters. A good agent can match you to the right carrier for your specific health profile. Your premium is level for life. The amount you pay when the policy is issued is the same amount you'll pay 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and every year after that, as long as the policy stays in force. For someone on a fixed income or planning for one, this is meaningful. You're not budgeting for a moving target. You know exactly what this protection costs every month, and that number doesn't change. If you're already thinking about what this looks like for your own situation, text FEX to 702 605 6038. I'll follow up personally and we can talk through what you qualify for and what it would cost. No pressure, just a real conversation. Illustrated premiums are examples only. Actual rates vary by age, health, state, and carrier. Life happens, a payment gets missed. The question is, what does the insurance company do when that happens? The short answer is they give you time. Every life insurance policy includes a grace period, typically 31 days after the premium due date. During that grace period, your coverage remains fully in force. If the grace period passes without payment, then the policy lapses. But the small amount of cash value that has accumulated may be used to extend coverage beyond the grace period, depending on the non-forfeiture options in that specific policy. If a policy does lapse, most carriers allow reinstatement within 2 to 5 years by paying the overdue premiums and in some cases completing a health questionnaire. The simplest practical step, set up automatic bank draft when you open the policy. It's one decision that removes an entire category of risk going forward. Final expense insurance pays a death benefit upon the death of the insured. That benefit can be used for whatever the beneficiary chooses. Funeral costs, burial, outstanding medical bills, credit card balances. The death benefit is paid as cash to the named beneficiary. No receipts required, no reimbursement process. The policy covers both natural causes and accidental death, with two specific exceptions. First, the suicide exclusion window, typically the first 1 to 2 years. After that period passes, the full death benefit pays regardless of cause. Second, the graded benefit period, which gets its own full slide next because it's the element that causes the most confusion and when it's not explained clearly, the most disappointment. Specific exclusions vary by carrier and state. Always review your policy documents carefully. This is the most misunderstood part of final expense insurance. When families find out about it after a loss, it should never be the first time they're hearing it. Not everyone who applies qualifies for a level benefit policy, meaning full coverage from day one. If your health history doesn't meet the carrier's standard guidelines, you may be offered a graded benefit policy instead. A graded benefit policy means that if you pass away within a specified period, typically the first 2 years, the full face amount is not paid. Either a percentage is paid on a graduated scale, 30% year one, 70% year two, or 100% from year three forward, or the carrier returns the premiums paid plus interest. A graded benefit policy is not a bad product. The issue is when someone buys it without understanding what their family would receive in year one versus year three. That conversation has to happen before the policy is issued. If an agent tells you you're fully covered from day one, ask to see that in the policy documents. Level benefit and graded benefit are not the same product. Graded benefit structures vary by carrier and product. Policy features vary by state. Most carriers aim to process a complete claim within 30 days of receiving all required documentation. Many process claims significantly faster, in some cases within 5 to 10 business days. That speed is one of the most practical advantages of life insurance over other assets. A home has to move through probate. A bank account may be frozen. A retirement account may have tax implications. A life insurance death benefit paid directly to a named beneficiary typically bypasses probate entirely. The key phrase is paid directly to a named beneficiary. A properly structured final expense policy with a living named beneficiary is one of the most efficient ways to put a specific amount of money in the hands of a specified person at a specific moment of need. Processing times vary by carrier and claim complexity. The beneficiary is the person who receives the death benefit when you pass. Naming that beneficiary correctly is one of the most important steps in the entire policy setup. Here's something that catches people off guard. The person named on your policy receives the death benefit regardless of what your will says. A life insurance beneficiary designation overrides your will. This is why it's important to keep your beneficiary designation current, intentional, and reflective of your actual wishes. You can change your beneficiary at any time, typically as simple as submitting a form to the carrier. Two practical notes. First, do not name a minor child as a direct beneficiary. Carriers cannot pay directly to a minor. The funds go into a court-managed account until legal age. Second, do not name your estate as beneficiary. It forces probate and eliminates the speed advantage that life insurance provides. Final expense premiums are based on two factors, your age and your health at the time of application. Both move in one direction over time. A 59-year-old in good health who qualifies for a $10,000 level benefit policy today will pay a lower monthly premium than that same person at 64, applying for the same coverage. And the 59-year-old who applies today locks in coverage at their current health status. If something changes in the intervening years, that concern doesn't apply to a policy already in force. This is how life insurance pricing works actuarially. The longer the application is delayed, the higher the risk assessment and the higher the resulting premium. The policy only does its job when it's in force. The most cost-effective window to put it in place is always now. Premium illustrations are educational, not guaranteed quotes. Actual rates vary by age, health, state, and carrier. I want to close with something that isn't talked about enough in the industry. I've been a licensed insurance agent since 2006, almost 20 years. In that time, I've helped families put policies in place and I've helped families file claims. Both sides of that experience matter because the experience of buying a final expense policy and the experience of using it are two very different moments, separated by years or in some cases decades. The question worth asking when you evaluate who to work with is not whether they explain the product well, it's whether they will pick up the phone if something happens 2 years from now, because that's the moment the policy was built for. There are agents who sell final expense policies and move on. Their clients end up with policies they don't fully understand, stored somewhere no one can find, with no clear point of contact when the moment comes. That's a gap that shows up at the worst possible time. When you're evaluating who to work with, think about the full relationship, the application, and everything that comes after it. The agent present at claim time is worth as much as the policy itself. If you want to talk through what final expense coverage looks like for your specific situation, the next slide has everything you need to reach me. That's everything for today. If this gave you some clarity, share it with someone who's been putting this conversation off. And if you're ready to talk about your own situation, text FEX to 702-605-6038, and I will follow up personally. My name is Sean Matteson, and thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. This stuff really matters for your future, and I want to make sure you get it right. Hit subscribe, check out these videos right here, and if you have any other questions, just text LIFE to 702-605-6038. I've also linked a lot of resources in the video description and other ways you can get a hold of me.